The drama starts with the female lead, Sarang, going to the King the Land Hotel, a very grand hotel, for an interview. But just as her turn arrives, her heel breaks. Despite this, she walks in with full confidence and a smile. Inside, the hotel's director, Ms. Hua Ran, is also present. She asks Sarang to play the piano. Sarang doesn't have piano skills, but she still plays in a funny style, making a tun-tun sound. After this, Sarang goes and tells her friends, Da-yul and Pyong-yu, all about it. Hearing this, they burst out laughing. They ask her to come work with them, but Sarang refuses because working at King Hotel is her dream. The next morning, while Sarang is still asleep, she gets a call from the King the Land Hotel. She is told, "You got the job." Hearing this, she is overjoyed and tells her friend about it right away. On the other side, the male lead, Koo-won, skydives directly onto the hotel's terrace and becomes an intern there. Koo-won deeply hates fake smiles. After this, when Koo-won is standing with everyone, the hotel manager is amazed by his personality and starts saying many things about him, right? But still doesn't know who he really is. The manager then assigns tasks to everyone, but Koo-won shows no interest in any task whatsoever. He has a friend named Song who tells him all about the hotel's responsibilities, but Koo-won doesn't care in the least. Then the manager gives them a task to print some papers. Sang and Koo-won go to print the papers, but the machine there is defective and not working. Sang notices the toner is empty. Just then, the manager comes over and Sang tells him the machine's toner ran out. Hearing this, the manager tells Sang to shake the toner hard. Sang does exactly that, and following the manager's instruction, shakes the toner harder and harder. But in doing so, the machine's toner bursts and smoke spreads everywhere. Seeing this, the manager starts scolding Sang, and then the director also arrives and starts scolding Sang and moves to fire him from the job. Seeing this, Koo-won says, "All the fault is the manager's." Hearing this, the director tells him to be quiet. But Koo-won says, "You can't blame a subordinate without knowing the facts. By the way, the entire fault lies with the company. They didn't get the machine changed on time." Hearing this, the director tells him, "You're an intern, blaming the company?" To this, Koo-won replies, "Intern I may be, but I know the difference between right and wrong." Then the director tells him, "Clean this up and get out of here. Don't come in from tomorrow." Hearing this, Sang starts apologizing, but Koo-won says, "Okay, as you wish." Hearing this, everyone is shocked. Then Koo-won calls someone and orders a new machine and a cleaning crew. Seeing this, the director says, "What are you doing? Who's going to pay for this?" Koo-won replies, "Relax." Hearing this, the director is shocked and says, "There is only one Choi in this company, Ahshe's, the CEO's personal assistant." He then asks Koo-won, "Who are you?" Koo-won replies, "I'm an intern, Koo-won." Hearing this, everyone is shocked. The director apologizes to Koo-won, but Koo-won says, "I'm an intern, and you fired me." Saying this, Koo-won begins to leave Kdrama, and as he goes, he takes Sang along with him. That night, Koo-won is sitting with his dad and sister. We learn that Hua Ran, the director of King the Land, but is actually Koo-won's sister. Koo-won's dad scolds him and asks why he quit today's job. He then tells him to go work at King the Land Hotel, but Koo-won refuses. Hearing this, Hua Ran says, "Dad, let me talk to him." Saying this, she takes Koo-won outside and tells him to go back to the UK because Hua Ran also doesn't want Koo-won working at that hotel. Koo-won refuses. Then Hua Ran says, "You've forgotten. This isn't your home. So spend tonight at the hotel and leave tomorrow. I'll send you the money." But Koo-won refuses and leaves. The next day, Sarang goes to the hotel on her first day. During training, they are all taught to smile at customers. Sarang is then taken to the gym room, where she learns her only job is to clean it. A team member then tells her to wipe the sweat off a chair. The smell is overwhelming, but following her manager's instructions, Sarang smiles and wipes it clean. On the other side, Sang comes to Koo-won for his first day, and Koo-won is browsing through dresses. The maid shows him a tiger shirt and says, "There are only 3 shirts of this kind in the entire country." Koo-won tells her to pack all 3. The maid tells him, "Sorry, sir, one of those shirts has already been sold." Koo-won tells her to pack the remaining 2. Hearing this, Sang says, "Sir, I don't want shirts like that. I don't like them." Koo-won just stares at him and says, "These 2 are for me. I don't like it when others wear the same clothes as me. By the way, come with me to England." Hearing this, Sang says, "Sir, is my job really confirmed?" Koo-won calls someone and tells them to make Sang's job permanent. At this, Sang happily goes outside. Just then, the front desk manager, Kim Soo-ji, who has been waiting for Koo-won, sees Sang coming out and mistakes him for Koo-won. She introduces herself to Sang and opens the elevator for him. Meanwhile, in the gym, a person is working out very loudly and disturbing everyone. but then his eyes fall on Sarang, and he finds her very attractive. Workers come and ask him to stop making noise, to which the person says, "What am I supposed to do? I work out like this." The worker treats him nicely. He says, "You're treating me well. You maybe like me, but sorry, you're not my type. My type is her." Saying this, he points towards Sarang. When Sarang goes out, the worker comes and gives her a letter from him telling her, "This was sent by the tiger shirt guy." When Sarang opens the letter, it says, "I like you, come to my room tonight." After reading this, Sarang is furious. She tries to hold herself back, but can't. She goes straight to the gym room, but the person isn't there. However, Kuwan is standing right there wearing the exact same tiger shirt. Sarang, fuming, goes up to him and calls out to him, but Kuwan has headphones on and can't hear her. So Sarang speeds up his treadmill, causing Kuwan to fall. She goes up to him and says, "Sir, I clean everyone's sweat here, so do you think that's funny? Even if you do, someone like you has no right to behave this way with me. Keep your tips to yourself, Mr. Rude." Saying this, Sarang walks away. Kuwan calls out for her to stop, but she ignores him and leaves. Just then, Hwaran arrives and tells Kuwan to stop making such a scene. To this, Kuwan says, "This hotel isn't yours yet, and I'm a guest here. If I file a complaint against both of you, it'll be trouble for you, so I'm a guest. Speak to me with respect." Saying this, Kuwan leaves. Hwaran then walks around the area. Sarang comes by and Hwaran asks her, "How is work going?" Sarang replies, "Very well. Thank you for giving me this opportunity." Hearing this, Hwaran asks her a few questions about the hotel. Kim Soo-ji says, "Ma'am, she's new here. She doesn't know much." But Sarang answers all of Hwaran's questions in detail. Hwaran then asks her to give details in English too, and Sarang does so fluently. Impressed, Hwaran gets even happier and tells her to be transferred to the lobby. Hearing this, both Sarang and Kim Soo-ji are quite shocked. After this, Sarang is overjoyed about the transfer to the lobby. Meanwhile, Kuwan, who was supposed to leave the hotel and go to England, is very sad and looks around the hotel one last time. That night, Sarang celebrates her lobby transfer with her friends, and in this way, a few years pass. Kuwan completes his degree and Sarang receives the Best Talent Award. Now we jump to a scene 7 years later. Kuwan tells Sang to book a return ticket to Korea, and Sarang, now in charge, is training some workers. Just then, Kim Soo-ji comes and says, "A guest outside is calling for you. Did you make some mistake?" Sarang replies, "No, I picked up the wake-up call and one other call." Saying this, Sarang goes outside to the guest and gives a proper introduction. The woman is impressed and asks, "Do you know who I am?" Sarang replies, "Come on, who doesn't know whose fan you are?" Hearing this, the woman says, "I left the stage a long time ago, but today, when you called me with my own song as the wake-up call, I felt so good. Before today, no hotel ever gave me a wake-up call like that." Hearing this, Sarang is happy and the woman hugs her. Now Kuwan is back in Korea and sitting with his dad and sister over a meal. His dad again tells him to start working. Hwaran says, "Dad, let him be. He just came to visit, and he still has studies left." Hearing this, Kuwan says, "Dad, I'll work, and at the King, the Land Hotel." Hearing this, his dad is happy, but Hwaran doesn't like it. Dad says, "Then stay here." To which Kuwan says, "No, I'll stay at the hotel." Dad says, "Okay, that's fine, but come back before your mom's memorial." Hearing this, Kuwan says, "Which mom? I don't even know if she's alive." At this, his dad gets angry and leaves. Hwaran says, "You're just like your mom, that's complete nonsense." The next day, Kuwan is all dressed up nicely and Sang praises him greatly. As they are heading out, Sang says, "Mr. Kuwan, your mood should be good today." To this, Kuwan replies, "I don't like pretending, just enjoy happiness." Sang says, "Your smile and all of this, but it'll all come with time, so there's no need to worry." Hearing this, Kuwan says, "And you should stop ordering me around like that." To this, Sang replies, "Then who else will praise you? Tell me." Kuwan says, "Your tongue runs like a pair of scissors." Then Kuwan remembers he forgot his phone, and Sang says, "I'll get it." Saying this, Sang leaves. Then Kuwan also realizes he forgot some papers, so he heads back too. Meanwhile, on the other side, Sarang has a stomachache. Kim Soo-ji tells her, "Hurry up and find Mr. Kuwan's phone and take it to his room." Sarang's stomach is hurting, and she's heading to the bathroom, but Kim Soo-ji doesn't listen. Sarang quickly goes to Kuwan's room, picks up his phone, and just as she is about to leave, the pain gets severe. She rushes toward the bathroom. And at that very moment, Kuwan also comes back directly to his room to pick up the papers. When he can't find his phone, he figures Sang must have picked it up. So he heads out. But just then, Sarang is hiding behind the bathroom mirror using a remote and Kuwan spots her. Sarang also sees him and screams loudly. After this, Kuwan stands outside while Sarang is locked inside the room. Kuwan asks for his phone and Sarang calls out, "Sir, please go. I'll bring it." But Kuwan says, "I don't have time." Saying this, he opens the door, and Sarang falls right on top of him. Shocked, Koo-won watches as Sarang quickly steps back and tries to hide her face. Koo-won looks at her and says, "I recognize you. We've met before." Sarang denies it, apologizes, and leaves. He goes after her and calls out to her, but Sarang ignores him. He catches up to her and asks, "Is there a problem with your ears?" Sarang smiles and says, "Sir, how can I help you?" Koo-won says, "You were the one calling me rude in the gym that day." At this, Sarang remembers the gym incident and says, "The tiger shirt guy was being shameless even after being told no." Koo-won says, "Who's shameless? Me or the girl who doesn't hide in a bathroom mirror?" Sarang shoots back, "Whatever I may have done, and I'm nowhere near your level of shamelessness." Hearing this, Koo-won tells her to apologize for that day and for today. Sarang apologizes for today, goes to the elevator, and Koo-won follows her and starts talking. Sarang says, "I don't want to talk to you. I had no interest that day, and I have none today either." Hearing this, Koo-won says, "Your words suggest you don't have even an ounce of sense. By the way, remember this. After today, don't come in front of me." At this, Sarang smiles and says, "Okay, sir. I was going to say the same thing. If you have any problem with this hotel, you can leave. Please." Saying this, Sarang goes to the elevator, but Koo-won blocks her and gets in himself. Seeing this, Sarang starts knocking on the door. But then Koo-won opens it and says, "Not no interest, some interest. Not nothing, something." That sentence is correct. Don't make that mistake again somewhere else. Saying this, Koo-won closes the elevator door again. After this, a ceremony is organized for Koo-won becoming director. The host is Kim Soo-ji, who has been mistaking Song for Koo-won. But when she invites Koo-won, Song goes up to the stage in his place, and Kim Soo-ji is shocked. She quickly asks Koo-won to say something. Seeing Koo-won on stage, Sarang is also shocked and thinks, "Is this the hotel's new director?" She quickly tries to hide her face. As Koo-won is about to speak, a childhood memory comes to him, one where he was telling everyone not to smile. Remembering all this, he gets quite frightened, but then he controls himself and gives his introduction. Kim Soo-ji calls Sarang up on stage to give Koo-won a flower bouquet. Sarang goes up to the stage, hiding her face behind the bouquet, but Koo-won removes it and is quite taken aback. Sarang presents him with the bouquet as a welcome and begins clapping. After this, Koo-won calls Sarang to his office and angry asks, "Why did you call me a jerk?" Sarang then tells him the whole story about the letter. At this, Koo-won says, "So how did you know I sent it? Do I look like a jerk to you?" Sarang replies, "Because the person who gave me the letter said it was sent by the tiger shirt guy." At this, Koo-won says, "I would never send you a letter. You're not my type of girl." Hearing this, Sarang smiles. Koo-won's head spins. He sternly orders her, "From today onward, never smile in front of me. Don't smile." Sarang is worried about how she can work at a hotel without smiling. In the next scene, to celebrate Koo-won becoming director, a party is arranged at King the Land's VVIP lounge, where regular employees can't come. But Sarang, being the best employee, is also invited. As Sarang arrives and sees the luxury and the food, she is completely dazzled. She's excitedly looking at everything, when suddenly Koo-won makes his entrance. Seeing her there, Koo-won is furious and repeats his earlier words. "Didn't I tell you not to come in front of me?" Saying this, he walks away. Sarang takes her seat. Just then, Hwa-ran and her dad, the chairman, arrive with their distinguished guests. A 700 million won tuna is placed on display. Everyone praises Hwa-ran for throwing such a grand party for her younger brother. Hwa-ran sweetly says she just wants to help her brother. But the guests joke, "Now you might have to give the hotel to Koo-won." At this, Hwa-ran's dad says, "Whoever wins the competition will get the hotel." Hwa-ran asks, "What kind of competition is there with a little brother?" The chairman then shushes everyone and happily says, "Our Koo-won needs all of your support," and asks everyone to cheers. At that moment, the chairman notices Sarang among them. She is cheering with the most enthusiasm. He asks, "Who are you, madam?" Sarang, with full confidence, introduces herself. "Sir, I am the front desk manager. My name is Cheon Sarang." When the chairman is told that Sarang was chosen as the best talent from the staff and is here on behalf of the staff, he is very impressed. He says to her, "So you are the most kind employee of this hotel. Then come here and propose a toast on behalf of the staff." Sarang is nervous about giving a toast before such big VIP guests, but she finds herself cornered, while Koo-won glares at her. But Sarang stands before the chairman and the top executives. When the chairman asks her to say something on behalf of the staff, Sarang switches on her professional smile and, complimenting Koo-won, says, "We are all extremely proud and honored to have such an intelligent and principled head manager." Hearing this, Koo-won thinks to himself, her performance has begun, and stares at her angrily. But the chairman is so impressed by Sarang's words that he orders the chef, "Pack the best piece of tuna for our best employee." Hearing this, Sarang is delighted, and Koo-won, irritated again, says, "What a fake smile. Then Koo-won is asked to give a speech. He says, I will make King Hotel a place where smiles are not fake. He says this directly as a taunt aimed at Sarang. After the speech, there is a confrontation between Koo-won and his sister Hwa-ran. Hwa-ran says jealously, is this all to become the heir? To which Koo-won says plainly, I have no interest in running the company or becoming an heir, but I can't keep up the act of being incompetent anymore. Hwa-ran says, if you want to live in peace, then stay away from me. That night, Sarang takes the tuna home. Pyong and Sarang are both a bit scared of the fish and try to cut it, but they can't manage. Then Daol arrives, sees the fish, is absolutely delighted, cuts it up and cooks it, and the three of them eat it together. The next day, when Sarang goes to the hotel, an influencer, famous by the name National Mom, is demanding a free suite room upgrade, using her followers as leverage. But Sarang, without any fear, refuses her and says she cannot violate the hotel's policies. The influencer threatens to destroy the hotel with one post, but Sarang treats her with her golden smile. Just then, Koo-won notices all this. He sees National Mom being extremely rude to Sarang. Koo-won calls manager Kim Soo-ji over and says, call security and remove this woman. Our hotel doesn't need guests like this. Saying this, he tells Sarang to come to his office. Sarang goes to Koo-won's office. Koo-won scolds her angrily. Why were you just standing there listening to her nonsense? Is there no protocol for such people at this hotel? Sarang replies, here. I am not Sarang. I am an employee of this hotel. It is my responsibility to listen to every guest complaint, setting aside my personal feelings. Hearing this, Koo-won quiets down a little, but then, showing his arrogance, says, never ask me what color I like or what season I like, because I don't like such pointless talk. At this, Sarang gives a hilariously funny reply. But I never asked, and why would I? What would I even need that for? Hearing this, Koo-won gets a little awkward and says, so what would you ask then? Just then, Sang arrives and tells them both that, on the chairman's orders, they need to do a live PR show, an interview. Koo-won refuses the interview. Sang then tells them, this is a battle of existence and you must fight it, and Miss Sarang will be facing you in it. Hearing this, Sarang is shocked. Koo-won says, why would I fight Miss Sarang? Battles are fought with fighters. Can she even fight? Has she learned Taekwondo? Sarang quickly replies, I'd have to fight. Hearing this, Koo-won mutters quietly, all donkeys are my fate. Sang then explains to Sarang that it's just a TV interview they need to do live, and that Sarang just has to ask him questions. Sarang is a bit worried at first, but then she says to Sang, why are you being so casual with me? Sang replies, I'm your senior. You can be casual with me too. Sarang says, okay, sit then. Sang is stunned, and Koo-won, seeing this, starts to smile. That night, Sarang goes to the rooftop with her boyfriend, Yoonam. Sarang's feet are hurting, so she can't climb up and asks Yoonam for help. But he doesn't help and tells her to come up on her own. Yoonam is a careless guy who doesn't care about Sarang at all, and Sarang herself notices this. As they reach the rooftop, Yoonam gets a call from his friends inviting him to a school reunion. Yoonam tells Sarang about it and asks her to come along. This hurts Sarang and she refuses. Yoonam says, we'll just show our faces and come right back. Saying this, he forcibly drags her along. When they get there, Sarang sees that Yoonam's school reunion is all women. Shocked, she watches as Yoonam seats her among other girls and goes to sit with his school friends, drinking. Time passes, and seeing this, Sarang feels terrible. She gets up and walks away. Yoonam runs after her and says, give me a minute. I'll say goodbye and we'll go together. Saying this, he goes back inside, and his friends pull him back to sit. Seeing this, Sarang leaves. The next day, Koo-won and Sang are waiting for Sarang at the airport. When Sarang arrives, Koo-won just stares at her. Sarang says good morning to him, but he just keeps staring. She says it again loudly for Nedi Ibre, and Koo-won, startled, says, why are you so late? She replies, I'm right on time. Sang takes Sarang's side, which makes Koo-won a little irritated. He pushes them away and says, stop acting like brother and sister here. This is work. Saying this, he throws Sarang's bag at her without looking, and it hits someone on the head, making that person angry. Sarang points out it's Koo-won's bag and leaves. Sang follows her. Shocked, Koo-won says, I'll deal with you later. The man calls Koo-won over, and Koo-won hands him a check for 1 million. The man is stunned and says, I'll carry your luggage. But Koo-won refuses and starts to leave, and Sang and Sarang are watching. Koo-won makes a shooting gesture at them, and they both run away. After this, they all arrive in South Korea. A luxury car is waiting for Koo-won. Sang and Sarang are excited, and Sang opens the car door. But Koo-won drives away without them. Both are disappointed and end up taking a taxi. On the other side, Hwaran is on the phone telling someone to change the questions to be asked of Koo-won. Now the interview is about to begin. Koo-won arrives and he and Sarang start looking at each other. The director tells them to start shooting. It's being broadcast live. Sarang picks up her question cards and is a little nervous. Koo-won says, "You're nervous." Sarang says, "I'm not nervous." Koo-won says, "I think you are." Sarang angrily denies it. Then the cameraman tells her to look at the camera, and Koo-won continues calling her nervous. Sarang says, "I can't say anything about someone who came so over-prepared for an interview himself. Look at your hairstyle. It's terrible." To this, he says, "This is the latest hairstyle." Then the interview begins. Everyone is watching. Sarang asks the first question. "We've heard your mom was one of the founding members of King the Land Hotel. You must feel very special being here." Hearing this, Koo-won gets furious and walks out. Everyone is shocked. Koo-won goes outside and starts recalling his sister's words. Sarang tells the audience, Mr. Koo-won remembered an urgent matter. That's why he stepped away." After saying this, Sarang talks about her own moments at King the Land with her mom. She says, "Working at this hotel was my greatest dream, the King the Land Hotel. And from then on, King the Land has been my joy and my dream." Everyone is very impressed listening to her. Then Koo-won returns and takes all of Sarang's question cards to look at them, and they are all questions about his mom. Seeing this, he throws all the cards away and tells Sarang to ask her own questions. Sarang, to save King the Land's reputation, asks him, "You like sunsets, right? Isn't this one beautiful?" Hearing this, Koo-won starts looking at the sunset and then says to Sarang, "Let's go watch that sunset together." Both of them look amazing watching the sunset together, and this photo gets a lot of likes. So the next day, both of them have a photo shoot for King the Land's promotion. The cameraman asks Koo-won to smile, but he doesn't. And he isn't making hearts properly either, while Sarang is taking wonderful photos with a beautiful smile. The cameraman mutters, "This guy won't smile," and Koo-won just walks away. After this, their photo shoot is near an island, and Sarang says, "Please smile a little." Koo-won says, "I'm not in the mood." Sarang says, "I'm not in the mood either, but I'm smiling. You smile for the photo shoot too." Koo-won refuses. Sarang teases him. "You can't smile, can you?" Koo-won says, "I'm not in the mood to smile." Then the photo shoot begins. The cameraman asks them to smile, and Koo-won makes the most hilarious forced smile. The cameraman is shocked, and Sarang bursts out laughing. Then Koo-won walks away. Their last photo shoot is on a boat, without sang. After the photo shoot, as they try to head back, the boat breaks down. Koo-won tells the captain, "I don't care about anything, and we need to go back." The captain says, "If you want to get home, go swim." Saying this, the captain goes inside. Koo-won tells Sarang to talk to the captain. Sarang talks to the captain, but he doesn't listen either. That night, the captain tells them there's a VIP hotel here, and they can stay there. Koo-won refuses, but Sarang starts walking toward it, and Koo-won, scared of the dark, follows her. He's very scared but pretends to be incredibly strong. Just then, a chicken flies up, and Koo-won gets startled. Sarang starts mocking him. He says, "I'm not scared. I'll walk in front of you." Saying this, he starts walking ahead, but then an old lady appears and he is so frightened that he faints right there. A little while later, Koo-won opens his eyes and finds himself in a strange room where everything looks horrifying to him. Terrified, he jumps out of the window and lands right at Sarang's feet. Sarang says, "You could have used the door." Then the hotel owner arrives and, seeing Koo-won so frightened, mocks him and says, "You're scared just like a little child. Your wife is so strong. She carried you all the way here." Then all three of them sit down to eat together. The old woman and man take them for husband and wife. Both Koo-won and Sarang try to tell them, "We're not husband and wife." But the old couple doesn't believe them and asks them to have the place's special drink. Both of them, competing with each other, drink way too much and get drunk. The owners leave them alone. Sarang and Koo-won start talking a lot. Sarang, angry, asks him, "Why are you always so rude and complaining? Why do you never smile?" Koo-won, irritated, says, "Every time I'm with you, everything in my life goes wrong, so stay away from me." Hearing this, Sarang gets angry. Things escalate, and they start blaming and threatening each other. Then Koo-won shows his boss authority, but Sarang says right back, "Everyone is equal. No one should be disrespectful to anyone." After saying this, Sarang also calls him a proud king. Koo-won calls Sarang selfish and tells her to stop smiling. Sarang, sad, says, "Smiling isn't easy. It's an art. I smile every day no matter how much pain I feel inside, because it's better to suffer myself than to cause pain to others." After saying this, she asks him, "Why do you hate smiling so much?" Hearing this, Koo-won recalls a memory where everyone was laughing and says, "A smile is just a mask. Everything is fake." Sarang says, "Some people are genuinely real." Saying this, Sarang smiles sincerely and says, "This smile isn't fake. I am truly happy." But Koo-won still stops her and says, "Don't smile in front of me, whether you're at work or not." But Sarang doesn't listen and says, "I'll keep smiling." Then they'll both go to sleep. The next morning, when Sarang wakes up, she sees she still has her socks on. So she starts taking them off, which causes her to fall on top of Koo-won. She thinks, "What is he doing in my room?" and quickly moves back. Then Koo-won wakes up and moves very close to her, asking, "What are you doing in my room?" They then realize that they were given the same room while being told they had separate rooms. Then the old man gives Koo-won a bicycle and says, "Go explore the island together. You'll feel at peace when you see things with an open heart." Hearing this, Koo-won gets the bicycle and brings it to Sarang. At first, Sarang refuses, but eventually agrees, and they both head off on a bike ride. During the ride, their mood improves. Sarang asks, "Are you tired?" Koo-won says, "I don't get tired this fast." Then they both go to the seaside and enjoy the view. After this, when they head back to the hotel, the old woman hands them a bill for 750,000. Both are quite shocked. Koo-won is ready to pay, but Sarang is so smart, she quickly calculates the whole bill and says, "Your bill comes to 350,000. Seeing this, Koo-won is impressed. The old woman starts getting angry at them. But just then, the boat captain arrives, the old woman's son, and he too asks them to pay 750,000. Sarang says, "Tell me the truth. Did your boat really break down, or was this all planned? Tell me honestly, or I will file a complaint." Hearing this, the captain apologizes and tells them to pay whatever they want. In the next scene, they both return. When Koo-won gets home, his dad scolds him, saying, "You panicked over a simple question. You're only a head manager in name. Sarang actually handled the show. Without her, everything would have collapsed. In business, it's not just the result that matters, the method matters too. But you only created problems which that girl handled." Then Dad makes things even harder and says, "In this world, only money is real. Love, smiles, and respect are all lies. For people like us, love has no value. Your only responsibility is to protect the company and your father's legacy. After all, how long will you keep crying like a child over your mom?" Hearing this, Koo-won is hurt and says, I wasn't crying. I was trying to find out the truth about her, and I will find it out." The next day, when Sarang goes to the hotel, everyone praises her. But Kim Soo-ji is getting jealous. Then Koo-won's dad and the chairman of King the Land arrives and praises Sarang enormously, thanking her for handling the interview. Sarang replies, "Sir, I am proud to have had the opportunity to work at King the Land." The chairman says, "Starting tomorrow, you will work inside King the Land." Hearing this, Sarang and everyone else are shocked. Sarang's position had been upgraded. On the other side, Koo-won is sitting at his laptop, zooming into Sarang's photo. Sang arrives, and Koo-won quickly puts a different photo in front of it. He tells Sang, "You couldn't knock?" Sang says, "I did knock, but you were busy looking at your own photo." Saying this, Sang puts down a file and leaves. Koo-won then goes back to looking at Sarang's photo and thinks, smiling, "What is happening to me?" Then a task appears on his laptop, and after completing it, Koo-won realizes he's fallen in love with Sarang. He goes outside and starts watching her. His eyes land on some cookies. He takes the cookies and goes after her, and he's just about to call out to her when Yoonam comes and hugs Sarang. Seeing this, Koo-won is shocked and walks away sadly. Then Yoonam's friends call him, and from this, Sarang realizes he came not to apologize, but just to meet his friends. Hearing this, Sarang is really hurt and says, "No more. I can't compromise anymore." Saying this, she tries to break up with Yoonam, but Yoonam gets another call and doesn't pay attention. Sarang breaks up with him and walks away. On the other side, Koo-won is sitting in the car, extremely jealous, thinking, "What is happening to me? Why am I so jealous?" Thinking this, he throws the cookies out of the car. Just then, a police officer comes and tells him to pick up the box. Koo-won picks it up. The officer says, "You got those cookies for your girlfriend, but she walked off with someone else and you threw them away." Koo-won denies it, but the officer doesn't believe him and, comforting him, says, "I know these smiling girls. They trap rich men in their tricks." Koo-won says, "She's not like that." The officer says, "That means you like someone. Yeah, just propose to her quickly or she'll slip away." Hearing this, Koo-won says, "How do you know all this?" The officer tells him his own story. "I liked a very beautiful girl, but I didn't have the courage to propose to her, so she left with someone else." Hearing this, Koo-won starts thinking. In the next scene, Sarang goes to King the Land Hotel for her first day in the new position and is very happy after putting on the uniform. The manager brings her to Koo-won, who is shocked seeing her because she looks really beautiful, but he can't figure out what to say. So each time he says, "She doesn't know much. We'll have to work on this." Saying this, he asks them to leave. After they leave, Sang says, "You treated Sarang like a school child, meaning you like her. But to save your pride, you showed off your arrogance." And he starts giving Koo-won some tips. At this, Koo-won gets angry and throws Sang out. On the other side, Hwaron visits some apartments to boost the hotel's sales. She tells everyone to increase sales and even fires 2 workers, one whose clothes had a stain and another who was wearing a tight coat. That night, Koo-won tries to call Sarang but can't bring himself to, so he messages her. I want to talk to you after work. After sending the message, Koo-won stares at his phone, but there's no reply from Sarang. On the other side, Sarang is eating with Pyong. Just then, Koo-won calls her, but Sarang doesn't know it's Koo-won's call. The next morning, Koo-won wakes up and sees Sarang still hasn't replied to his message. He gets ready and goes outside, and Sarang is walking by. Koo-won says, I need to talk to you. Saying this, he walks away. Sarang comes to him and asks, would you like to order something, sir? Koo-won takes the menu from her and says, I messaged you. I even called it, but you didn't pick up. Hearing this, Sarang is shocked and asks, you have my number? Koo-won replies, yes, and adds, I have all your personal records. By the way, you don't have my number, do you? Sarang says no. Koo-won gives her his card and tells her to save his number. He then asks Sarang to come to dinner so they can talk. Sarang refuses. Koo-won says, just say yes to me once. She refuses again. Koo-won asks her again, Sarang, can you come to dinner with me tonight? She refuses yet again. Hearing this, Koo-won is shocked and asks, why are you refusing? What's wrong with me? Sarang replies, I didn't say that. It's just that going to dinner with you doesn't feel comfortable for me at all. Hearing this, Koo-won gets angry and walks away. After this, Sang tells Koo-won, sir, please pick a photo today. Koo-won says, I'm going to dinner with Sarang. Tell her and say it's a welcome dinner. Hearing this, Sang says, okay, but after dinner, please pick a photo. Saying this, Sang leaves. On the other side, Pyong is working on the airplane when the captain comes and bothers her. Pyong tells him to stay away from her. Then her coworker Lee-eun arrives, and the captain leaves. Lee-eun asks Pyong, do you have any plans tonight? Pyong replies, I'm just exhausted. I need to go sleep. Saying this, Pyong refuses. Lee-eun says, I want to have dinner with you. Hearing this, Pyong is shocked. After this, Lee-eun and Pyong are eating at a restaurant. Lee-eun says, I need you by my side in the future. Hearing this, Pyong is shocked and says, then don't regret it later. Lee-eun says, I need you by my side. Pyong tries to change the subject, but Lee-eun says, what do you think about me? I want to know more about you. Hearing this, Pyong is quite shocked. On the other side, Sang takes Koo-won to the dinner venue. As Sang opens the door, Koo-won sees Sarang and is quite happy. But when he steps inside, the other workers are there too. Koo-won quickly steps back outside and asks Sang, what is this? Sang explains, it's a welcome dinner. You did say to arrange it for Sarang. Hearing this, Koo-won calls him foolish and goes to leave, but Sang forcefully pushes him inside. Koo-won asks everyone to have dinner. Sarang isn't enjoying the fish. She doesn't like it, so she's not eating. Koo-won notices and asks, you don't like fish? Just as Sarang is about to say something, Koo-won tells Sang to order a steak. Sang explains, this is a Japanese restaurant. They don't serve steak here. Koo-won tells him to get food from another restaurant. Seeing this, all the workers are quite shocked. A little while later, a waiter comes and serves Sarang's food nicely. And Sarang feels very embarrassed in front of everyone. After this, when Sarang goes home, her friends wish her a happy birthday, give her a gift, and they all have a great time. The next morning, Sang tells Koo-won, today is Miss Sarang's birthday, so I'm going to give her a coupon on behalf of the hotel. That night, Koo-won goes to the hotel's data manager and asks for 1989 data. When the manager gives it, Koo-won asks, is all the data here? The manager confirms it and asks, can you tell me what data you need? Koo-won says no. On the other side, as Sarang is leaving, her ex-boyfriend, Yoonam, shows up. Sarang says, why have you come here? Our relationship is over. Yoonam says, I thought you were just angry that day. Come with me. I've booked a great restaurant for you. Hearing this, Sarang says, do you think I'm just hungry? If that were the case, I would have broken up with you 100 times by now. Yoonam apologizes, but Sarang says, if you were truly sorry, you would have never done any of this. And now, I'm tired. My love is dead. You are free. Saying this, Sarang walks away crying. As she leaves, 2 workers say hello to them. Seeing their fake smiles, something comes to Koo-won's mind. We then see a past scene where, as a child, Koo-won is called downstairs for lunch by the maid. Koo-won, asking about his mom, says, where is mom? I haven't seen her since yesterday, and not today either. The maid, laughing, tells him to come downstairs. When Koo-won goes outside with the maid, all the staff is smiling and saying good morning to him. Seeing this, Koo-won doesn't feel good. He tells everyone not to smile, but no one listens to him. Coming back to the present, remembering all this, he walks away. Sad, Koo-won goes to a place, and Sarang is also standing there, crying. Koo-won puts his umbrella over her. Sarang looks at him, and he says, this is my spot. Hearing this, Sarang starts to leave, but she slips and nearly falls, and Koo-won catches her. Both of them look at each other for quite a long time. Then Koo-won pulls Sarang close and says, cry it out. Crying makes your heart lighter. Hearing this, Sarang quickly moves back. Koo-won says, "Come on, let me take you home." She refuses and begins to leave, but Koo-won stops her and tells her to sit with him. On the way, Sarang falls asleep, so Koo-won turns off the music and covers her with a blanket. A while later, Koo-won stops the car. Sarang wakes up and asks, "Where are we?" Koo-won gives her a dress and shoes and says, "Maybe they don't fit. In that case, you can throw them away." Saying this, Koo-won starts getting out of the car. Sarang stops him. He says, "Come on, let's get something to eat. It's your birthday." Saying this, Koo-won walks away. A little later, when Sarang comes out after changing, she notices Koo-won is wearing a dress of the same color as hers. Shocked, Sarang starts going back to change. But Koo-won stops her. They then eat together. Sarang says, "People might think we're a couple." He says, "Stop dreaming pointless things on you're not my type." Then a photographer mistakes them for a couple and clicks their photo. Sarang clarifies, "We're not a couple." The photographer apologizes. Koo-won takes that photo from her. Sarang asks, "Why did you get the same dress?" He says, "I just did. I wasn't thinking like you." Sarang says, "Fine, that's okay." She then thanks Koo-won, and he says, "I've told you before, I hate fake compliments." She says, "I'm telling the truth. Look, the shoes fit too." Hearing this, Koo-won recalls something. We then see an earlier scene. While Sarang was asleep in the car, Koo-won had gone to buy a dress. His eyes had fallen on both matching dresses, so he bought both. He then sat in the car and, from a distance, measured Sarang's feet by eye, then bought shoes accordingly. Coming back to the present when their food arrives, Sarang is delighted by the amount. When it's time to pay, Sarang says, "I'll pay this bill." But seeing the enormous amount, she is shocked and starts paying with her credit card. Koo-won takes it from her and pays with his own card, then walks away. Seeing this, Sarang is very happy. After this, Koo-won drops Sarang at her home. Just as Sarang is about to leave, Koo-won stops her and gives her a cake. Sarang is delighted and thanks him. Just then, Yoonam arrives and says, "So he's the reason you left me." Saying this, Yoonam asks Koo-won, "Who are you?" Koo-won says, "Who are you?" Yoonam says, "I'm Sarang's boyfriend." Sarang says, "Ex-boyfriend, we broke up." Hearing this, Yoonam asks, "So who's this hero?" Sarang says, "You have no right to ask that." Yoonam asks why, and Koo-won says, "Because you are her ex." Yoonam tells him to shut up and tells Sarang, "I know you're feeling regret. What's the problem with saying it?" Hearing this, Sarang calls the police. Yoonam snatches her phone. Sarang says, "Quietly leave, or I'll really call the police." Yoonam says, "Are you hiding something? Are you cheating on me?" Hearing this, Sarang gets angry and says, "If you ever come in front of me again, it won't go well for you." Her boldness impresses Koo-won greatly. After Sarang leaves, Koo-won grabs Yoonam's arm, twists it hard, and tells him to stay away from Sarang. Then Yoonam walks away. Sarang goes inside and is overjoyed seeing the cake. Just then, Koo-won messages her a birthday wish. As Sarang is about to reply, he sends another message. "It's me, by the way." Seeing this, Sarang smiles. Then Koo-won calls her and says, "I'm telling you, it's me." Sarang says, "I know." Koo-won says, "So you're not in the habit of replying to messages?" Sarang says, "When did you even give me the chance?" Hearing this, Koo-won wishes her a happy birthday again. Sarang is happy and thanks him. Koo-won says a good night and sweet dreams and hangs up, and as he walks away, he looks at the photo of the two of them and smiles. In the next scene, Koo-won is in his office looking at the same photo. Sang arrives. Koo-won quickly hides it under a file and says, "Couldn't you knock?" Sang goes back out, and at Koo-won's insistence, says he was going to knock. Koo-won says, "Fine, stay outside then." As Sang goes out, Koo-won picks up the photo again. But Sang knocks and immediately comes back in to tell him about a meeting. But when Sang lifts the file, he sees the photo underneath. He quickly grabs it. Koo-won chases after him and demands it back. When Sang won't give it, Koo-won threatens to fire him. Sang hands it back, saying, "What is this? A couple's matching dress." Koo-won says, "What? Do we look like a couple?" Sang says yes. Koo-won says, "It was Sarang's birthday." Sang says, "On my birthday, you didn't give me a matching dress." Koo-won says, "I did it for employee welfare." Sang, taunting him, says, "Employee welfare? Then get me a matching dress too." Hearing this, Koo-won gets angry, throws him out of his office, and hits him with a pillow. That night, as Sarang is heading out, she tells Koo-won to stay in the car. But Koo-won, waiting in the car, gets out, and Sarang whispers, "No, don't come out. Everyone here is watching us." Saying this, she gives Koo-won a gift and says, "This is a return gift from me." He says there was no need for this. Sarang starts taking it back, but Koo-won says, "No, you brought it with such care. I'll keep it." Just then, some workers walk by. Sarang greets them goodnight and tries to hide Koo-won from them. After they leave, Sarang starts going, and Koo-won stops her and says, "Let's get something to eat. I'm really hungry." Hearing this, Sarang agrees. Sarang takes him to a restaurant where they have to stand in a line. Koo-won is quite shocked and says, "Do we really need to stand in line just to eat?" Sarang quietly tells him to sit, but he says, "I've never waited like this." Hearing this, Sarang gets up and starts to leave, but Koo-won says, "An idea came to me. I want to know what the fun of waiting feels like." Hearing this, Sarang sits back down. A little while later, their turn comes. The waiter asks for their order. Sarang orders 2 plates of food. The waiter asks if they want something to drink. Koo-won orders a special drink that isn't available there, and the waiter doesn't even know the name. Sarang orders 2 glasses of beer and tells Koo-won, "I'm paying the bill, so I'll order 2. A little later, the waiter brings their beer. Koo-won keeps giving the beer strange names, but as he takes a sip, he really likes it and drinks it all down at once. Seeing this, Sarang is happy. Then the chef prepares the food in his own style and serves it to them. Koo-won is shocked and finds the food incredibly delicious. After eating as they're leaving, Koo-won asks, "What will you show me next time?" Sarang refuses and says, "This was the last time. I will never go out with you again." Hearing this, Koo-won says, "Next time, you'll bring me food of your own choice and I'll love it." Sarang refuses, but Koo-won just keeps talking happily to himself. On the other side, when Hwaran comes to her apartment, her husband is there. Hwaran says, "You didn't even call before coming." He gives no answer. Hwaran asks about food, and her husband Seong says, "I want a divorce from you. I'm in love with someone." At this, Hwaran says, "Go around and have fun with that girl, but I won't give you a divorce right now because Koo-won has just joined the business and Dad hasn't chosen his heir yet. Once King Hotel is mine, I'll give you the divorce." Hearing this, Seong is about to say something, but Hwaran says, "I'm the one who left you, and without my permission, you cannot leave me." Saying this, Hwaran walks away. In the next scene, during Superpower Week, Koo-won is sending everyone somewhere. Sarang and other staff members are sent to collect ginseng from a person named Kim Jong, who only gave it to one hotel, and all others had failed to convince him. Koo-won learns of this and becomes very worried about Sarang. On the other side, Sarang, after quite a lot of travel, reaches the ginseng location. A lady is sitting there. Sarang greets her and tells her she's from King Hotel. Sarang has many gifts with her, and the lady says, "My husband isn't here, I can give them to him." Sarang says, "I'll give them to him myself." The lady tells her, "My husband doesn't care about these gifts. Many big hotels have sent gifts before, but he only wants to work with the first royal hotel." Hearing this, Sarang asks, "Where is he right now?" The lady says, "He's on the mountain." The lady tries to stop Sarang, but Sarang doesn't listen. She changes into appropriate dress and heads up the mountain. On the other side, Koo-won learns that rain is coming and is very tense. Sang tells him, "Only 30% chance of rain. Don't worry so much." Just then, it starts pouring heavily. Sarang quickly hides. Then Koo-won calls her and asks, "Where are you?" Sarang says, "I'm on the mountain." Then the sound of thunder frightens Sarang. Koo-won says, "There's going to be a lot of rain, come back." Sarang says, "I need to give him the gift." He says, "You just love getting sick in the rain." Sarang says, "You were the one who sent me. By the way, I'll come back after finishing the work." Koo-won tells her to abandon the work and come back, but then Sarang spots a small plant. She's overjoyed, ends the call, and picks up the plant. But then her foot slips and she falls down, and Koo-won calls and calls. But Sarang is lying there unconscious. On the other side, Koo-won keeps trying to call Sarang. When she doesn't pick up, he tells Sang to prepare a helicopter. Sang tries to stop him, but Koo-won leaves. On the other side, Hwaran is in a meeting. Koo-won goes in and asks for permission to use the helicopter. Hwaran refuses. Koo-won behaves nicely and requests the helicopter again and again, and when Hwaran still won't agree after many tries, Koo-won says, "Fine, I'm taking the helicopter. Whoever wants to do something can go ahead." Saying this, Koo-won leaves. On the other side, when Sarang regains consciousness, she finds herself in that scary place. She is frightened and crying, thinking, "Maybe today is my last day." But then, Koo-won arrives in a helicopter, and as he lands, Sarang is startled. He tells her, "It's me, Koo-won." Hearing this, she hugs Koo-won tightly and cries a lot. Koo-won calms her down. Sarang then thanks him and asks, "How did you get here?" He says, "By helicopter." Sarang is amazed and asks, "How do we get back up then?" Koo-won says, "Yeah, I came without thinking, but my mind had no other idea. I just knew I had to come here and save you." Hearing this, she asks why. Koo-won says, "My heart told me to." Then he calls someone and says, "Get us out of here." Hearing this, Sarang laughs. Koo-won then tells her, "The rescue team will come in the morning. We need to wait until morning." Hearing this, Sarang says, "Hearing that is a relief." Koo-won says, "Until then, I'll protect you." Just then, a sound comes, and Koo-won is terrified. Sarang says, "You scared me too." Koo-won says, "What was that sound? I'm really scared." Hearing this, she says, You came to save me, huh? So why are you scared? At this, Koo-won, pretending to be brave, says, I was protecting you from behind. Like I always say, the enemy always attacks from behind. Just as Koo-won is saying this, the sound comes again, and Koo-won is frightened again. Sarong starts laughing. Then someone shines a light on them. They both look up and scream in unison. After this, both of them are sitting with Kim Jong, who gives them soup. Kim Jong mocks Koo-won and says, he was even more scared than the girls, and what a coward. Koo-won says, I wasn't scared, and that wasn't a scream. It was my battle cry to frighten you. Kim Jong then says to Sarang, my wife told me someone from King Hotel came, so I went looking for you. Coming in this weather was foolishness. Koo-won says, yes, it was very foolish. Hearing this, Sarang gets angry and says, it was my order from above. Kim Jong asks, who is that? Sarang points at Koo-won, and hearing this, Kim Jong looks at him strangely. After eating, Koo-won says to Sarang, I'll take you to the doctor first thing in the morning. Sarang refuses and says she'll go straight to work. Koo-won says, you should also take care of yourself. Don't always just think about work. Sarang says, for an employee like me, doing that is impossible. Koo-won says, I promise you, this will never happen to you again. Hearing this, Sarang feels much better. The next morning, Sarang is sweeping. Koo-won comes and sees her doing it, tries to take the broom from her. Sarang refuses, but he keeps trying, and in doing so, hits her leg hard with the broom. Still, he takes the broom and sweeps so hard and fast that he makes Sarang laugh, and in the process, the broom breaks. After this, they are both heading home. Sarang says to Kim Jong, thank you for saving my life. Hearing this, Koo-won is a little stung and says, I saved your life. But Sarang doesn't give him priority. Kim Jong praises Sarang enormously, and Koo-won tells him from now on not to send Sarang anywhere. Sarang then goes and gets the ginseng plant and asks Kim Jong, is this ginseng? Kim Jong is very shocked but says, yes, this is the most expensive ginseng. Not everyone can find it. I've only found one like it in my whole life. How did you find it? You're a genius girl. After saying all this, Kim Jong agrees to work with King Hotel and also asks Sarang to work with him and shakes her hand. Seeing this, Koo-won gets jealous. He quickly pulls Sarang's hand away and says, she won't work with you. Oh, she's our hotel's best talent employee. Sarang then gives the ginseng to Kim Jong, but he refuses to take it and says, now give this ginseng to your mom. Sarang says, I don't have parents, but I'll give this to my grandma. After this, Sang comes to pick them up and tells Koo-won that the chairman wants to meet him. Sang starts telling Sarang how Koo-won arrived there, but Koo-won gestures no and gets in the car. He tells Sarang to sit next to him, but Sarang sits next to Sang. On the way, Sang and Sarang are talking nonstop, and Koo-won, extremely jealous, tells them to be quiet. Sang asks Sarang for a treat, and she buys him a huge amount of things from a restaurant. Then Koo-won says, I'll drive now. Sang hands over the keys. Sarang goes back to sit next to Sang, and they start chatting again. Koo-won says, you never thanked me for saving your life. Sarang starts feeding him something, but as she looks that way, everyone is looking right at her. Sarang quickly puts the food in the plate. Koo-won starts eating on his own. He likes the food and reaches over Sang to take more noodles. On the road, Sang suddenly needs to use the bathroom urgently. Koo-won stops the car and Sang rushes off. Then Koo-won calls Sang and says, take 1 week's rest. Take however much money you need. We're leaving it. Get yourself a different car. Saying this, Koo-won takes Sarang along and asks for her grandma's address on the way. Sarang first refuses, but then tells him. Koo-won takes her to her grandma's restaurant. Sarang tells him to leave, but Koo-won says, I'll wait for you. Sarang says, no need. Saying this, Sarang goes inside and gives her grandma the ginseng. But grandma tells her to leave it there and go back to work, so Sarang quickly starts serving customers. Outside, Koo-won watches and laughs. Then grandma comes out and says to Koo-won, why are you staring at my daughter-in-law? Koo-won denies it. Grandma takes him for Sarang's colleague and asks him to peel onions, but he doesn't know how. Grandma hits him and teaches him the technique, then leaves. Koo-won sits and peels all the onions, his eyes watering the whole time. Then grandma comes back and is shocked to see the onions this way. She scolds him a little. After grandma leaves, when Sarang comes out, she spots Koo-won waving his tearful eyes and asks him, what are you doing here? He says, your grandma put me to work. Just then, grandma calls Koo-won back in and asks both of them to go get tofu from the market. In the next scene, they're both at the market. Sarang says, come on, let me feed you something sweet. Koo-won says he doesn't like sweets, but she forcibly feeds him something sweet. After eating, Koo-won finds it really delicious and starts eating more. He asks the price, and the shopkeeper tells him a very low price. Koo-won is shocked and says, you didn't charge for that soup? The shopkeeper says, it's free. Hearing this, Koo-won is amazed and sips the soup. But when he puts his hand in his pocket to pay, his wallet isn't there. Sarang pays the bill. The shopkeeper then gives Koo-won the sweet for free, and he is quite delighted. Then Sarang goes to play a ring toss game she used to play since childhood, but has never won. Koo-won tries the game many times, and he also can't win. He asks Sarang for one last round of money. She says no. Koo-won acts like a child and says, "Please, give me one more try. Well, this time I'll win." Sarang, taking pity on his cute face, gives him the money. Koo-won quickly plays, and this time he wins. Both of them are overjoyed and hug each other. After this, they both return to Grandma's, Heir, and Grandma feeds them something, but Koo-won has never seen this food before and is scared to eat it. Grandma shows him how to eat it, and as he takes the first bite, he loves it and starts eating quickly. Seeing this, Grandma and Sarang are both very happy. After eating, as they're about to leave, Grandma packs food for Koo-won to take. He thanks her, and Grandma even gives them today's salary. Koo-won doesn't want to take it, but Grandma insists. He accepts, and as he leaves, he bows to Grandma multiple times. Seeing this, Grandma laughs. In the next scene, Koo-won drops Sarang at her home. Sarang thanks him for today. Koo-won says, "A thank you isn't enough. Come on a date with me." Hearing this, Sarang is a little shocked, and then feels shy. Koo-won looks at her and starts smiling. Sarang also smiles and walks away. After this, when Koo-won gets home, his dad is there. Koo-won serves him the food Grandma gave, and his dad loves it and says to bring more next time. Dad then asks about the helicopter incident. Koo-won says, "Saving an employee's life is a very big thing for me. Have you ever saved anyone's life?" Hearing this, his dad goes quiet. After some small talk, he leaves. The next day, King Hotel is about to celebrate a chairman's daughter's birthday, and Sarang is serving drinks to everyone. Just then, Koo-won arrives. Seeing him, Sarang smiles, and Koo-won is also happy. Then Song tells Sarang to hold a gift and goes away. Sarang takes the gift and goes after Koo-won. A girl there is very excited to see Koo-won and hugs him. This girl's name is Yoon. Seeing this, Sarang is quite jealous. They talk very friendly with each other, and Sarang's mood drops, and she takes Yoon for Koo-won's girlfriend. Koo-won also notices Sarang's mood. After this, when Sarang goes home, she is very sad. Pyong comes with cookies for her. Then Da-eul also arrives, and they throw a little party. And then all three of them dance wildly. Then the doorbell rings. Delivery boys come one by one with food. When Sarang opens the door, Koo-won is standing there. Shocked, she lets him in. Da-eul and Pyong see him and start screaming. Then they all sit and chat. Da-eul asks, "Who is this?" Sarang is about to explain, but Koo-won says, "I work with Sarang." Da-eul and Pyong say, "We also work at a King Hotel branch, so that makes us family." As they talk, they ask Koo-won his name, and he gives his name as Manager Lu. Da-eul says, "I'm also a manager. You must definitely visit the store." Then Da-eul says, "I've heard the head manager there is quite arrogant and grumpy." Hearing this, Sarang is shocked and says, "Who told you that?" She says, "You told us. You said he thinks he's a rich kid." Sarang says, "When did I say that?" Pyong says, "You said it yesterday, and you've been saying it every month for the past month." Hearing this, Sarang asks them to leave. Da-eul teases them and asks, "What are you two up to?" Koo-won says, "Please, I need to talk to Sarang alone." Hearing this, the two of them tease as they leave. After they leave, Sarang says, "Sorry for making you listen to their nonsense." Koo-won says, "Well, now I know what you really think of me." Sarang says nothing and asks why he came. Koo-won says, "Your mood didn't seem right, and so I couldn't stay away and came to check on you." Hearing this, she says, "You shouldn't have left your girlfriend's party to come here." Koo-won says, "She's not my girlfriend." Sarang shouts, "If she's not your girlfriend, then why was she hugging you? Anyone can just walk up and hang off your shoulder like you're a pillow?" Hearing this, he starts smiling and says, "That means you're jealous." Sarang denies it and says, "I don't care at all." Koo-won says, "Okay, if that's what you say. But from today, I'll only hug you. I promise only you have rights over me." Hearing this, Sarang is shocked. Koo-won says, "Now be happy." Sarang says, "You look sad to me." Koo-won tells her to ask herself that question. Sarang quickly looks down. Koo-won tilts her face toward him and says, "Come on, admit it. You're not sad." Just then, Pyong and Da-eul, having overheard, start laughing and tell them to continue. In the next scene in a meeting, Koo-won's dad gives him a task. An Arabic prince is coming to Korea and staying at Royal Hotel. Koo-won is to persuade the Arabic prince to stay at King Hotel instead to boost its reputation. Hearing this, Koo-won agrees to do it. On the other side, Sarang is wiping a table. Just then, Koo-won comes and starts helping her, but he's not doing it right, so Sarang starts showing him. As Sarang holds Koo-won's hand to show him, Koo-won is just smiling the whole time looking at her. After this, Koo-won goes and tells his dad that the Arabic prince is coming to King Hotel. His dad is quite shocked, and Hwaran is also very surprised that the prince agreed. Now we see a past scene where Koo-won calls the Arabic prince. They have known each other since school. Koo-won invites him to his hotel. The prince refuses, but Koo-won says, come to our hotel and in return, I'll give you whatever you want. Hearing this, the prince agrees. The next day, the prince sends Koo-won a contract which states that Koo-won must agree to his every demand. Sang tells him not to sign it, but Koo-won, not wanting to, still signs it. Then Sang acts like the Arabic prince and tells Koo-won to take off his own shoes. Hearing this, Koo-won smacks him with the shoes and throws him out of the office. In the next scene, the Arabic prince arrives at King Hotel. Sa-rang has been placed there to welcome him. The prince deliberately tells Koo-won to open the car door, and Koo-won, furious but without a choice, opens it. Sa-rang then welcomes the prince with a bouquet and gift. The prince takes a real liking to Sa-rang. As the prince opens the gift, there is a bracelet inside, and he asks Sa-rang to put it on his hand. Hearing this, Koo-won takes the bracelet and puts it on himself instead. After this, Koo-won and Sa-rang are sitting together. Sa-rang says, you used to hate people who smile, but I smile all the time, even before going to sleep. Koo-won says, that's impossible, smiling in sleep. Sa-rang says, it's my job, and giving happiness to others gives us happiness. She then tells Koo-won to smile. Koo-won makes a weird smile. Sa-rang tells him to smile from the heart. Hearing this, Koo-won gives a beautiful smile and says, how is this smile? From my heart to yours. Hearing this, Sa-rang smiles. Just then, the prince comes over. He sees a photo on the wall and wants to go to that place. It's the royal palace. The next day, Sa-rang and Koo-won take the prince to the palace. Sa-rang is telling him about the things there, but the prince is just staring at Sa-rang. Koo-won positions himself between them. The prince tells Koo-won to go get coffee, and Koo-won, not wanting to, still goes. The prince asks Sa-rang, do you have a boyfriend? Sa-rang says no. Just then, Koo-won returns and sits right between them. The prince nudges Koo-won aside, and then he sees a couple nearby and asks Sa-rang about it. Sa-rang says, anyone can enjoy a traditional wedding here. Hearing this, the prince says, now I want to try it with you. Hearing this, Sa-rang says, do you want to marry me? By the way, this is for married couples. The prince says, I want to enjoy it too. Nearby, Koo-won is getting very jealous. Sa-rang then looks toward Koo-won, and Koo-won gestures no. But Sa-rang goes to the prince and is about to agree. So Koo-won comes and says to the prince, your contract is up, take your stuff and get out of our hotel. The two begin arguing. Sa-rang then agrees to go ahead with the wedding. After this, Sa-rang comes in a wedding dress. And then Koo-won arrives all dressed up. When he shows his face, Sa-rang is overjoyed and also a little shocked. She expected the prince to be the groom. Now we see a past scene. The prince was getting ready as the groom, but Koo-won arrived and said, you don't look good in that dress. He picks out a dress for himself. The prince says, your taste is terrible. Koo-won says, I can smell your jealousy. Actually, in Korea, at big parties, people wear white suits, and those people are special. So I'll wear the white suit. Koo-won knew this all along. And the prince, hearing this, takes the white suit from him and gives Koo-won his groom outfit. Now in the present, Sa-rang and Koo-won's wedding is happening. The prince arrives and starts mocking Koo-won. Koo-won runs off shouting, clean this too, because this dress is what the cleaners here wear. In the next scene, the prince sends a dress for Sa-rang and another for Koo-won. When Sa-rang comes for lunch with the prince in the dress, Koo-won serves them food. Seeing this, Sa-rang is shocked and stands up. The prince tells her to sit. Sa-rang says, how can I sit in front of my boss? Koo-won tells her to sit and serves them drinks. Sa-rang doesn't feel good about any of this. Then the prince offers Sa-rang a ring and proposes to her. Hearing this, Koo-won gets furious. He snatches the ring and gives the prince a piece of his mind, then starts taking Sa-rang away. Sa-rang says, this ring was given to me as a gift. Please give it to me. He is a guest here, and as an employee, I respect guests. Saying this, she takes the ring and returns it to the prince. At this, the prince says, this is the first time I'm not hurt by a girl rejecting me, but next time I'll come with an even more expensive ring so you'll accept me. Sa-rang says, you're leaving tomorrow. Shall we all three have dinner together? Koo-won says no to this, but Sa-rang convinces him, and the three of them have lunch together. After lunch, the prince is leaving. He says thank you to Sa-rang and says, don't fall for anyone after me. Wait for me. Saying this, he tries to hug Sa-rang. Koo-won tells him to stay away from Sa-rang. The prince hugs Koo-won instead and says, come here, my habibi. Koo-won says, I don't want your habibi, and you'll never be. Saying this, he pushes the prince back. The prince then gives Koo-won some money. Koo-won says, keep your money. But the prince gives the money again and leaves. On the other side, Pyong's on the airplane trying to sell some products for a promotion in a hurry. Due to the airplane shaking, Pyong loses her balance and falls, hurting her back. After this, when Sa-rang is at home, Lee-eun brings Pyong over and tells Sa-rang to apply medicine on her back. Sarang figures something is going on between these two. After Leon leaves, Sarang teases Pyong. Pyong says, "Nothing like that. I'm just worried about my promotion." Sarang tells her not to stress. In the next scene, Sarang goes to a sauna with her friends and deliberately starts advertising a cream in front of some ladies, saying, "This is a very good cream. It causes no harm and even fixes wrinkles." Hearing this, those ladies also ask about the cream, and Pyong tells them to try it too. They love the cream. In the next scene, Koo-won calls Sarang over to meet. When Sarang arrives all dressed up, Koo-won welcomes her dressed like a chef. Seeing this, Sarang is delighted. Koo-won says, "Miss Sarang, I'm sorry, but tonight I am also your servant and your chef." Hearing this, Sarang, shocked, says, "As far as I remember, you couldn't even peel an onion properly." Koo-won says, "That's the past. Today I took a special class from the head chef." Saying this, he serves her a drink, and she loves it. He then serves her food too. After tasting it, Sarang is amazed because he has prepared incredibly good food. Koo-won then goes to make a special dish and they both smile looking at each other. Then Sarang goes up to him and Koo-won shows her his special flambe trick. But the fire gets a bit too big. Sarang gets scared, a glass falls from her hand, and the hotel's fire alarm goes off, causing the sprinkler to turn on automatically. Koo-won quickly picks up Sarang and seats her on the table. Sarang says, "Water is getting into the food." Koo-won says, "Never mind the food, wife. Are you okay?" Sarang says, "Yes." Now the two of them come very close to each other, and Koo-won begins to kiss her. After this, since they got soaked in water, Koo-won wraps Sarang in a blanket, and then they both start talking and eating together. The next day, Koo-won gets all dressed up and goes outside. Sang asks him, "Did you put on perfume?" Koo-won says, "This isn't perfume, it's scent." Hearing this, Sang starts teasing him. Just then, Sarang arrives, and Koo-won walks off with her. Seeing this, Sang is quite shocked. Inside the elevator, as they both return to work, Koo-won keeps finding excuses to stay close to Sarang, which makes her a bit anxious because she doesn't want anyone to find out about their relationship. During a meeting, Koo-won ignores Sarang so badly in front of everyone that her feelings get hurt. Afterwards, Sarang tries to make up with him by trying a back hug in the office, but Koo-won suddenly gets startled and pushes her away, making the situation even more awkward. Then, heading up to the loft, Koo-won tries to get close to Sarang, but she keeps pushing him away because of Sang. Sang turns around and asks, "What exactly are you two doing?" Koo-won says, "Nothing, you just look ahead." Saying this, he tries to hold Sarang's hand again. Sang catches them again and asks, "What are you doing?" Koo-won throws Sang out of the elevator and holds Sarang's hand himself. After reaching the hotel, Koo-won follows Sarang everywhere. He sits somewhere and watches her work. The other workers get disturbed, so they send Sarang over to ask what the head manager needs. Sarang goes to him and says, "Do you need something else?" Koo-won says no. Sarang tells him to leave. Koo-won doesn't listen. Sarang tells him loudly to go and starts scolding him. Everyone looks over. Koo-won, a little sad, walks away. After this, during a meeting, Sarang asks Koo-won for coffee, but Koo-won ignores her. Sarang walks away. After the meeting ends, Sarang goes to Koo-won and tries to make up, but Koo-won isn't budging. So she tries a back hug, but Koo-won suddenly gets startled and pushes her behind him, saying, "You nearly fell." Hearing this, Sarang, annoyed, walks away. Koo-won thinks, "Wait, I was the one who was upset. Why did that happen?" In the next scene, Koo-won goes to Sarang's grandma's restaurant, and she is trying to fix the lights. They almost fall, and Koo-won quickly catches her and takes her to the hospital because her knee is damaged. But grandma says, "Get out! Why did you bring me to the hospital for something so small? This is a waste of money." Koo-won says, "Until your injections and tests are done, I'm not letting you go anywhere. Don't worry about the restaurant. I'll take care of it." Hearing this, grandma is surprised at Koo-won's quickness and asks him, "What were you doing there?" Koo-won makes an excuse that he was just passing by, and grandma, looking at his sad face, understands that he and Sarang have had a fight. She asks him directly, "Tell me, do you like Sarang?" Koo-won, a little shy, but honestly says, "Yes, I like Sarang very much." Grandma then advises him, "Even if she cares for you, if you don't show it, how will she know? Never be proud in love. Honestly say what's bothering you and sincerely listen to her." To this, Koo-won says yes. Grandma, happy, says, "Okay, then you are now candidate number 1 for my future son-in-law." Just then, Sarang arrives crying. Grandma, seeing her, scolds Koo-won for telling everyone and jokes, "Your candidacy is canceled. Get out." Sarang is very worried about her grandma and makes her promise to take care of herself. After this, grandma sends both Koo-won and Sarang home. When they reach the house, the tube light is broken. Koo-won says, I'll replace it, but first we need to turn off the switch so no one gets a shock. Sarang mocks him and says, it sounds like you used to be an electrician. But as Koo-won touches the main switch, a big jolt of electricity runs through it, and all the lights in the house go out. In this darkness, the two draw closer to each other. Sarang comes with a flashlight. Then they both sit down. Koo-won, admitting his mistake, says, I am sorry. I am very stubborn. I want to be with you. I like you a lot. Hearing this, Sarang accepts his apology. And then she confesses her feelings too. Hearing this, Koo-won kisses her. Much later that night, they both sleep in Grandma's room. Koo-won moves a little away from Sarang and tells her to come closer. Sarang says, either go sleep outside or go back to Seoul. Hearing this, Koo-won, joking, comes closer and says, you've been my favorite from the very beginning. Sarang says, thank you for liking me so much. Koo-won says, I always want to be in a place where I can see you just by turning around. The next day, Grandma is discharged from the hospital and comes home. She sees Koo-won sitting next to Sarang and starts hitting him. Koo-won says, Grandma, nothing happened between us. You've misunderstood. Just then, Sarang wakes up and holds Grandma back. After this, when Koo-won drops Sarang home, Sarang's friends are there crying over work because despite all their hard work, they haven't gotten a promotion. Hearing this, Koo-won promises to get them justice, saying, a promise is a promise. I'll keep it. Da-ul says, a regular manager can't do this. Only a head manager can. Pyong says, even a head manager won't do it because Sarang says he is a very grumpy, rude, spoiled rich man who won't help people like us. Hearing this, Sarang is embarrassed and says, he's not like that at all anymore. He's changed. He's become very good now. Hearing this, Koo-won says, I'm so glad I came here. I'm so happy that today, everyone with me is a hero of King Hotel. Hearing this, Da-ul says, I wish Manager Loo were the head manager. And she starts praying for Koo-won. The next day, Koo-won arranges a trip for the hotel's best employees, Sarang, Da-ul, and Pyong. Everyone is very excited. At the airport, Koo-won is waiting for them. As Da-ul, Pyong, and Sarang arrive, Koo-won gives them some rules. As they're about to leave, Song arrives. Seeing Song, Koo-won panics. When Song starts calling him head manager, Koo-won runs over and covers his mouth and tells him to leave. But Sang won't go. Da-ul asks who he is. Before Sang can say anything, Koo-won says, he is the general manager. He arranged your trip. Hearing this, Sang is shocked, but acts like the general manager, sidelines Koo-won, and cheerfully asks all the girls to come along. Since Koo-won doesn't say otherwise, Song glares at him and drags everyone along. Koo-won is very angry, but he controls himself. In the next scene, they all arrive in Thailand and enjoy themselves a lot. Then at the hotel, they all enjoy the swimming pool. After their fun, Sang tells them all that when they go sightseeing, they'll all wear matching t-shirts, and he gives each of them a shirt. Everyone's shirt has a word of Hasha on it, but Koo-won's shirt just has an exclamation mark. After putting on the shirts, Sang takes them all to a restaurant and orders noodles. But Koo-won doesn't eat noodles and orders a beer. When they all try the noodles, they are delicious. Sarang starts feeding Koo-won noodles, but as she looks up, everyone is watching her. So she quickly puts the noodles back on the plate and Koo-won starts eating on his own. He likes them and reaches over Sang to grab more noodles. After eating, they all go to a street full of food stalls and have a great time eating together. Koo-won tries to get close to Sarang again and again, but Da-ul and Sang keep them apart. That night, as Koo-won is trying to sleep, he can't. Sang is also asleep next to him, making sounds. On the other side, Sarang can't sleep either. Just then, Koo-won messages her. Are you awake? Sarang says yes. Koo-won asks her to come downstairs. Sarang agrees, and they both quietly sneak out of their rooms, bumping into each other on the way. Koo-won catches Sarang, and they look at each other for a long time. Then Koo-won and Sarang go sit by the pool and start talking about the day, how no one even left them alone. Koo-won says yes. Sarang says, this is my first trip. I've never gone on a trip before. Thank you for this. Koo-won says, from now on, you'll keep going on trips with me. Saying this, Koo-won goes into the swimming pool and brings Sarang in too, and thanks her for coming into his life. Then they both start kissing. The next morning, they all go to a temple together. Koo-won and Sarang are walking together. Sang, seeing them, says, what are you two doing? Come walk from behind. All of us take selfies. Hearing this, Koo-won glares at Sang. Sang says, come take our photo. Koo-won says, okay, and they all take loads of photos together. Koo-won gets tired, but they all insist on more photos with him. That night, they all go on a cruise ship. As they stand in line, Koo-won says to Sarang, let's bolt from here. Sarang agrees, and as Sarang stops, Koo-won grabs someone's hand and runs happily. But a little ahead, he gets confused and looks behind him. It isn't Sarang, but Sang next to him, meaning Koo-won grabs Sang's hand. Sang is quite confused. Kuwon quickly steps back and asks, "What are you doing here?" Sang says, "Sir, you grabbed my hand." Hearing this, Kuwon is shocked and stares at his own hand. And Sarang, and standing right ahead, Hum is laughing watching all this. After this, they're all eating together. Kuwon puts his hands together towards Sang and asks, "Why don't we all spend some personal time tomorrow?" Sang refuses, which disappoints Sarang too. Just then, Leon arrives. Pyong introduces him to everyone and asks, "Really? How did you end up here?" Leon says, "Our flight happened to be here today, and I found out you were coming here, so I came too." Sang invites him to eat with them. After eating, they all take selfies. Then, lightning showers start, and they all go crazy with excitement. After this, when they're back at the hotel, Daal and Sarang deliberately act like Leon to tease Pyong because they knew something was going on between Leon and Pyong. The next morning, Leon's flight is early, so he gets ready calmly and is about to leave. Then he notices food and a note on the table and left by Pyong. It reads, "Eat before you leave. Take care." Reading this, Leon is very happy. After this, Song Da-yul and Pyong come running and say Sarang and Kuwon are nowhere to be found. Then they look down and spot Kuwon and Sarang walking. Sang asks, "Where are you two going?" Sarang says, "We're going to find our freedom." Saying this, they both run off. In the next scene, Kuwon takes Sarang to a wonderful restaurant. Sarang is amazed by the food and loves it. After eating, Sarang thanks him and says, "Since I was a child, I never wanted to make any wishes because I was scared that if they didn't come true, I might have done something wrong. I just wish I could always stay this happy. That's my wish." Kuwon says, "From now on, make every wish and tell me." Sarang is happy. Then Kuwon tells her, "Hwaran is my stepsister, and I am the son of my father's second wife. But one day, suddenly, my mom left. Without telling anyone anything, I cried. I searched for my mom, but everyone around me was smiling. That day, I started to hate smiling faces. I felt like every person just has a mask on. But then you came into my life without any mask." Sarang says, "Is there still no news about your mom? Didn't anyone look for her?" Kuwon says, "I searched for her everywhere, but she was nowhere. I felt like she was never there. I don't know why she left me. Without knowing what was going through her mind, I can't understand whether to remember her or forget her." Hearing this, Sarang says, "Let's look for her together." Kuwon says, "There's no need. I'm only looking for her because I want answers, but now even that desire is fading." Saying this, Kuwon asks her to walk outside and goes ahead himself. Sarang follows him from behind and hugs him. "Thank you for coming into my life." Hearing this, Kuwon turns to look at her with a smile, and then they both hug each other. After this, Kuwon and Sarang go to a place together where there's a full moon. Sarang starts making a wish, looking at the full moon. Kuwon asks her, "What did you wish for?" Sarang doesn't tell him. Then Kuwon plans a surprise and takes her to a beautiful restaurant where they both enjoy a lovely view. Sarang asks him, "What did you wish for?" Kuwon says, "You are in my life, so I need nothing more. By the way, I thanked the moon for bringing you into my life." Hearing this, Sarang says, "Thank you." Kuwon then proposes to her, saying, "I love you, Sarang." Hearing this, Sarang is happy and replies, "I love you too." Then they both start kissing. In the next scene, they all return to Korea and start going back to their jobs. Kuwon takes on the responsibility of King Hotel's 100th anniversary party, where only VIP guests are invited. But Hwaran is unhappy about this. She gives Kuwon a list of VIPs and says, "I've convinced all of them to give speeches, so now you take care of it." Kuwon says, "I'm the host of this event. I don't need your help. When you were the host, you handled everything yourself." Saying this, Kuwon leaves and begins checking all management for the event. He then goes to the doorman and says, "I need to talk to you. Can you give me 5 minutes?" The doorman says, "A guest of mine is about to arrive. I need to welcome her, so I can't come right now." Kuwon says, "Okay, come find me when you're free." Saying this, Kuwon leaves. A little while later, the guest arrives, and the doorman gives her a warm welcome. After this, the doorman goes to Kuwon, who shows him great respect and asks, "Who was that lady?" The doorman says, "She used to come every month with her husband, but her husband has passed away. Still, she comes every month. She is a special guest, so I welcome her warmly so she doesn't feel bad." Hearing this, Kuwon is very touched. He then asks, "Is there any guest who is connected to a memory of yours?" The doorman says, "There's a very big tree in front of the main gate. It was donated by the first member ever to join this hotel. That person did a lot for the hotel. After that person passed away, their children often come here." Hearing this, Kuwon says, "I'm hearing about this for the first time. By the way, was it always your dream to work here?" The doorman says, "No, I came here looking for happiness. After the hotel, Sarang is waiting for Koo-won at the bus stop. Just then, Koo-won sneaks up from behind and hugs her, and Sarang gets so startled that she elbows him hard in the stomach. Seeing this, Sarang is shocked and apologizes, asking, "Are you okay?" Koo-won acts and says, "No, I'm not okay. My battery is running out. Please recharge me." Saying this, he points to his cheeks. Sarang looks around and kisses him once. Koo-won says, "That's only 1% charged." Sarang gives him 3 kisses. Koo-won says, "That's only 10% charged." Sarang kisses him a lot more. Koo-won kisses her back. Just then, Sarang's eyes fall on an employee standing nearby, so they both quickly try to hide. Just then, a bus arrives. They both get on. Once inside, they're both quite shocked because it's King Hotel's own bus and all the staff is on it. Sarang quickly makes up a story and starts telling Koo-won about the bus, and then they quickly jump off at the next stop and both burst out laughing. The next day, Sarang goes to the doorman and asks, "You've been working here so long, surely you know all the old employees?" The doorman says yes. Sarang mentions Koo-won's mom's name and asks if he knows her and where she might be. The doorman says, "I don't know much about her, but there's a lady who knows all this." Hearing this, Sarang goes to that lady's room, but accidentally walks in with her shoes on. The lady starts scolding her and says, "Even though you're an employee, you don't know this. I don't talk to such people." Sarang apologizes and starts to leave, but as she goes, she neatly arranges the lady's shoes. The lady notices this. In the next scene, the day of the event finally arrives. Koo-won comes first and, after giving a good speech, invites his dad to the stage. His dad gives a good speech, welcoming everyone. Koo-won then thanks all the hotel's employees, and as he begins calling someone up to speak, Hwa-ran tells a shareholder sitting next to her, "Be ready for your speech," because she figures they'll call on him. The shareholder says yes, but Koo-won doesn't call on him. Instead, he calls up Choi, the son of one of the very first employees to work here. Choi comes up and says, "I don't know why Mr. Koo-won invited me here. I'm here because of my father. He was one of the first member employees here. He always planted trees here. I used to always come here with my dad, because King Hotel was like a playground for us. As far as I remember, even the chairman of King Hotel used to love us very much." After saying this, Choi praises King Hotel a lot and finishes his speech. Everyone is impressed. The chairman also greets Choi warmly. "You're really Choi, aren't you? Your father did so much for me. I can never repay that debt." Saying this, he has Choi sit next to him. Then Koo-won, one by one, calls the doorman, King Hotel's chef, the electrician, and the lady from the inspection team because Koo-won felt that all of them had a hand in making this hotel successful. Seeing this, the shareholder gets angry and leaves, and Hwa-ran follows him. But Koo-won's dad is very impressed by this event. After the speeches, food is served. The inspection team lady says to Sarang, "You can come talk to me anytime. I'm sorry I scolded you." Sarang thanks her. After this, Koo-won's dad picks up a file and remembers his wife, who had always been making plans to make everyone around her happy. Thinking this, Koo-won's dad is smiling. Just then, Hwa-ran comes in and says, "Did you see what Koo-won did?" The shareholders were also unhappy, but dad takes Koo-won's side, and Hwa-ran, furious, walks out. On the other side, Sarang invites Koo-won to her home and cooks him a nice meal. Seeing so much food, Koo-won says, "Did you make all this?" Sarang says yes. Koo-won quickly tastes it and loves it. Sarang says, "I just wanted you to taste home-cooked food." Koo-won says, "Man, you should have been a chef at King Hotel." Sarang says, "If I get the opportunity, I will be." After eating, they turn on some music and drink together. When the drink runs out, Sarang says, "I'll get it." Koo-won says, "I'll get it." They both insist on going. Koo-won picks Sarang up and they start kissing each other, but then Pyong, Daul, Leon, and Song all walk in. Daul and Pyong scream loudly. Koo-won and Sarang are completely shocked. After this, Koo-won and Sarang sit downstairs and the others sit on the sofa looking at them, asking, "How long has this been going on?" Sarang says, "Not that long." Pyong says, "Why didn't you tell us?" "We tell you everything." Sarang apologizes. Sang sitting there is also a little shocked, and Daul and Pyong are scolding the two of them. Then Lee-eun says, "Come on, to stop it." He then says to Koo-won, "Congratulations, bro." Hearing this, Koo-won is happy and says, "Thank you, your eye is good." Daul says, "All right, let's not hide anything else." Koo-won apologizes. Daul says, "You can't be trusted. You could say next that you're the chairman's son." Hearing this, Koo-won looks at Sarang and says, "It seems I'll have to tell everyone the truth because I am the chairman's real son." Hearing this, all three of them are shocked and then laugh it off. "Oh, you scared us. Do you think I would believe that? The chairman's son's family name is Koo and yours is Loo." Pyong says, "And anyway, Koo-won is head manager, and he's very rude and a jerk." Koo-won says, "So I'm the rude jerk. By the way, I am Koo-won, head manager, and that person hiding in the back covering his face is Assistant Song." Hearing this, they are all shocked and quickly get cushions and juice and start speaking formally. Kuwon says, please, just talk to me casually the way you did before. I liked that. But they are all far too nervous and they couldn't speak and couldn't sit comfortably. Yul takes Song outside and scolds him. You could have just given me one signal. Because of you, I was rude to all of them. After this, when Kuwon comes outside, Sang is sitting on the floor. Kuwon asks him, should I fire you? Sang gets up crying and says, why did you hide all of this from me? Kuwon calms him down. In the next scene, Hwaran is meeting with the shareholder. Sarang is serving them food. The shareholder doesn't like this and starts insulting her. Sarang apologizes. The shareholder says, all you people know how to do is say sorry. Saying this, he tells Hwaran to fire Sarang. Hwaran tells the manager, remove her. Hearing this, Sarang is shocked. Just then, Kuwon arrives and says to the shareholder, our employee has manners. Perhaps you should learn some. Hearing this, the shareholder furiously walks away. Hwaran says, how dare you do this to me for an employee? Kuwon shouts, Sarang is not just an employee, she is the best talent here. And as long as I'm in charge, I will protect my staff. Hwaran says, is she just an employee or something more? Kuwon says, what are you saying? Hwaran says, I'm just saying, blood always shows. That's why you went with a helicopter. In the next scene, Sarang's co-workers take her out for drinks because they've now realized she's a great person. And they all praise Sarang greatly. She is very happy. After drinking, as they're all heading out, it starts raining. The workers leave. Sarang is left waiting for the bus in the rain. Just then, Kuwon arrives with an umbrella. Sarang is delighted to see him and asks, what are you doing here? He says, it was raining heavily, and I heard you were at a team dinner. Hearing this, Sarang says, you could have called me. Kuwon says, you were all enjoying, I didn't want to disturb. Saying this, Kuwon starts taking Sarang with him. But just then, a car passes and splashes water. Kuwon quickly brings the umbrella forward so neither of them gets wet. Kuwon says happily, see, I saved you. But then another car passes and all the water falls on Kuwon. Sarang looks at him and smiles. After this, Sarang is at home and screams very loudly watching some news. Hearing this, Kuwon comes running out without even buttoning his shirt. Sarang says, it's nothing, I just saw this news. Saying this, she looks at Kuwon and then, blushing, says, why didn't you button your shirt? He says, I heard your voice and came running. Sarang tells him to go dry his clothes. Kuwon moves close to her and says, sure, but why are you so shy? Are you being innocent? Sarang denies it, and Kuwon starts kissing her. On the other side, Hwaran calls Song and says, if you want to be more successful, I can help you, but for that, you'll have to bring me all of Kuwon's information. Hearing this, Song says, what exactly do you want to know about him? Hwaran says, everything. His work, his personal affairs, everything. Hearing this, Song thinks for a moment and says, if that's the case, how much can you help me? The next day, Kuwon takes Sarang to an island and tells her, whenever I missed my mom, I used to always come here. It felt like she was watching me from the sky. Hearing this, Sarang says, if you talk like this, I'll get emotional. Sarang then says, I wanted to meet my mom, but I couldn't walk on water. So one day I came here and found a path, and I felt like the one above had heard me. By the way, I couldn't meet my mom, but I feel like this path leads to her. Saying this, she takes Kuwon's hand and leads him to that path. A little ahead, she takes out a photo from her bag, one belonging to Kuwon's mom. Sarang tells him, the inspection lady gave this to me. This is a photo of her friend who worked in the laundry. Seeing this, Kuwon is shocked. Sarang says, she told me your mom was a beautiful and kind-hearted person. When we go back to the hotel, you must go talk to her, so you don't have regrets like me. Hearing this, Kuwon gets emotional. In the next scene, we see a boy at King Hotel. Meanwhile, Hwaran's husband asks her to sign divorce papers, and Hwaran refuses. Seong says, don't let this go to court. That kind of news in the media isn't good. Hwaran says, I told you, this is not the right time. Seong says, the right time won't come. Please sign quickly. Saying this, Seong leaves. Hwaran, furious, sits down, then gets a call from her son, Jihu. Hwaran says, your mom is busy right now. But Jihu says, I'm at King Hotel. Hearing this, Hwaran quickly goes to Jihu and scolds him. Son, your mom is busy. Are you bothering me? Can't your mom have any peace? Jihu, sad, apologizes, and Hwaran tells him to go back. After this, Sarang is sent with some workers to work at the chairman's home in a dream job assignment. She is asked to take food to Jihu's room. When Sarang takes the food, no one is there. Then Jihu puts on a mask and appears in front of her, and Sarang gets frightened. Sarang doesn't know Jihu is Hwaran's son, so she treats him like a random child and asks him to apologize to her. Jihu refuses and says, call me young master. But Sarang also refuses and tickles him, saying, say sorry to me. Jihu apologizes. Just then, Sarang gets a call from her manager. Take Hwaran's son to the chairman. Hearing this, Sarang is shocked. and treats him properly and takes him to the chairman. On the other side, Yul is sitting with her daughter, Seo. Then Seo's dad arrives, and Seo asks him to have dinner together, but Seo's dad, Cheong, refuses. At this, Seo says, I already knew you wouldn't remember our wedding anniversary. Cheong says, I remember, but today I have a very important meeting with the boss. That night, Da-ul is coming back from grocery shopping when some things fall from her hands, and she starts seeing something. On the other side, Cheong is playing golf with his friends and teaching a girl golf too. Da-ul shows up and starts hitting Cheong. Seeing her hitting like this, Cheong's friends run away. Da-ul gives her husband a proper telling off and then discovers that Cheong has quit his job for a whole year and is using the savings to play golf. On the other side, Koo-won needs to prepare a report to make King Hotel famous, so he stays up all night working on it. Sarang also comes with food for him and helps. The next day, they all have a meeting with the chairman. Hwa-ran presents her report, but the chairman doesn't like it. When Koo-won presents his report, the chairman is very impressed and says, I've long wanted King Hotel to be in every country, and now you'll definitely make this dream come true. So starting next week, you will be the president of King Hotel. Hearing this, Hwa-ran is very angry and walks out. After this, when Sarang is having coffee with her coworkers, a worker comes and tells them, from now on, the president of this hotel is Mr. Koo-won. Hearing this, Sarang is very happy. Just then, the manager calls Sarang over and tells her, from now on, you'll need to leave King Hotel for a few days and work at the chairman's home. Sarang goes directly to the chairman. The chairman tells her, I want you to stay here for a few days and take care of my grandson Jihu, because Jihu also likes you and has grown up alone. Hearing this, Sarang agrees and says, can I make one request? The chairman says yes. Sarang says, can I treat Jihu like my little brother? The chairman says, of course, what could be better than that? Hearing this, Sarang is happy and goes to Jihu's room, where Jihu tries to scare her again, but Sarang catches on. As Jihu comes forward, Sarang scares him instead. Jihu has been rude since childhood because of loneliness, so Sarang tells him to always be polite to everyone. Then they both go outside to play, and Sarang also teaches Jihu manners. Jihu really enjoys all of this. After playing for a long time, Sarang tells Jihu to wash his hands. She goes to get food, but from the other room, Koo-won steps out and Sarang is shocked. Koo-won takes her to his room and asks why she's here. Sarang tells him everything and then looks around his room. She spots the photo from the photo shoot, the one Koo-won had kept very carefully. Sarang says, so that means you like me from the very beginning. Seeing this, Koo-won is embarrassed and tries to take the photo, but in the process, they both fall on the bed and come very close to each other. Koo-won says, we're both locked in one room. Sarang says, so, this is the bed Koo-won sleeps in? Hearing this, he starts smiling. They're just about to start kissing. When Jihu comes looking for Sarang, Sarang quickly goes quiet and then says, we were playing hide and seek. Jihu goes off to hide. Sarang then takes the food and leaves. After this, Koo-won drops Sarang at her home and she asks him, did you ever spend time with Jihu? Koo-won says, when Jihu was small, I was out studying. And when I came back, he had left. So we never had the time. Sarang says he's still a child, but he feels very alone. Hearing this, Koo-won says, Jihu is quite quiet and mature, so I never noticed. Sarang says, children shouldn't be so mature. Grown-ups should be mature. After dropping Sarang off, Koo-won goes back and directly goes to Jihu, who is sitting alone, very sad. Seeing this, Koo-won says, I'm looking at your room for the first time. Saying this, he sits next to him and says, you've been away from Korea for a long time. Is there anything you want to do? Jihu says, I don't want to do anything. Koo-won says, if you ever feel like doing anything, tell your uncle. We'll both do it together. Saying this, Koo-won starts to leave, but Jihu grabs him. The next morning, Koo-won takes Jihu and Sarang on a picnic, and they all have a wonderful time. In the next scene, Koo-won goes to the inspection lady and starts asking about his mom. The inspection lady tells him everything and says, if you want to know where your mom is and want to meet her, I can tell you. But Koo-won says, no, it's okay. I just asked casually. I miss her sometimes. That's why. Not for any other reason. Saying this, Koo-won goes outside and emotionally calls Sarang. I'm hungry. Will you feed me? After this, Koo-won is at Sarang's home. They enjoy a meal together and then have a drink. Sarang asks, aren't you going to meet your mom? Koo-won says, I just wanted to know why she left, and I've found that out. Sarang says, your mom loved you very much. That's why she left you. Kuwan says, if you love someone, no matter what happens, you never leave them. Something happened and she left me, like that means she doesn't love me as much. Hearing this, Sarang says, maybe there's a reason you don't know about. That's why you should go meet her. Otherwise, you'll never understand her. Kuwan says, but now I don't want to think about my mom anymore. I'm free from her thoughts now. Hearing this, Sarang hugs him. Just then, someone from below is clicking their photo. And when the two of them kiss, it gets recorded too. That person then calls someone and says on the phone, they're both together. The photos are absolutely clear. The next day, these photos go viral on social media. When the chairman learns of this, he quickly says to resolve the matter. But on the other side, Hwaran is calling someone and saying, if the chairman is paying you, I'll double the payment. Just clean all these photos and post a proper article. On the other side, Sarang goes to Kuwan and he hugs her. Sarang asks, did you just see those photos? Kuwan says, yes, I was very worried about you. By the way, I'm sorry for all this. Sarang says, are we doing something wrong? Kuwan says, no, not at all. Sarang says, I'm completely fine. Don't worry. Just then, Song arrives and quickly turns away and says, Sarang, you're here? Seeing this, Kuwan says, you can't knock before entering? This isn't your office. Sarang says, I'm leaving. You two talk. After Sarang leaves, Song says, I think Hwaran is behind all this. Hearing this, Kuwan says, do you have any proof? Song says, I'm saying this because Miss Hwaran called me and said if I bring her information about you, she'd make me head manager. But I refused. So I think she placed a spy on you. The next day, the kissing photo of Kuwan and Sarang is also uploaded, and this time Sarang's face is clearly visible. When Sarang goes to the hotel, everyone is talking about her. As Sarang steps into the elevator, Kim Soo-ji tells her, I knew from day one you'd cause some drama, so tell me, how did you manage it? Did you flutter your eyelashes or something? Give us tips too. Just then, Kuwan is also in the elevator and says, I approached her first. I went to her myself. And yes, I fluttered my eyelashes. So if anyone wants tips, come to me. I'd love to teach you. Hearing this, Kim Soo-ji says, Sir, you've misunderstood me. Kuwan says, just remember, I was the one who liked her first. Understand? Kim Soo-ji apologizes. The elevator door opens, and Kuwan takes Sarang's hand and walks off with her, saying to everyone, say it with confidence. Kuwan was the one who liked me first. Sarang says, so, what exactly were those eyelash flutters? Not everyone can pull that off. Hearing this, Kuwan says, Sarang, what did you take me for? I'm not some random player. I had a master plan from the very beginning. By the way, ever since you came into my life, it has become full of color. Sarang says, liar. Kuwan says, don't say such things again. I can't believe I found you. Hearing this, Sarang starts smiling. Then Kuwan walks away. In the next scene, Hwaran is sitting in a meeting with board members, planning to remove Kuwan from the president's seat. The chairman arrives and says, a meeting without me? Hwaran says, yes, the company's condition isn't good, so the board members made a decision they want to share with you. Saying this, she gestures toward the board member, and one of them starts to speak. The chairman says, I have something to say too. I'll go first. By the way, Hwaran, you were behind the photo incident, weren't you? What do you think? I'll hand everything over to you. Hearing this, Hwaran says, Dad, you're crossing a line. The chairman says, you ruined something very precious for your own benefit. Hwaran says, don't suppress the truth. Kuwan ruined the company. The chairman says, you should have been in politics. That's why starting today, you are relieved of all responsibilities in this hotel. Game over. If you have something to say, come out and speak. Hearing this, Hwaran is shocked. And then furious says, this is what you always wanted, wasn't it? That your heir be a son? The chairman says, you're speaking the truth, but it's too late. Anything else to say? Hearing this, Hwaran gets extremely angry and says, you never cared about me from the very start. You never wanted me. Saying this, Hwaran goes outside and crying begins to recall something. We then see a past scene. When Hwaran comes home from school as a child with her report card to show her dad, she sees her dad playing with Kuwan. Seeing this, she tears up her report card in anger and walks away. On the other side, Daul is making her husband clean the house while she sits comfortably with Seo watching TV. Cheong says, I'll get my revenge on you two. Seo says, you shouldn't have done this to Mom in the first place. Tit for tat, Dad. Cheong says, where did you learn all this? Seo says, you used to keep saying the same things to Mom. Just then, Cheong's parents arrive, and Cheong, crying, runs to his mom. his mom starts scolding Da-ul, but Da-ul tells Cheong's mom the whole truth, how he quit his job and used their savings for golf. Hearing this, his mom starts scolding Cheong herself and takes Da-ul's side and tells Cheong to go make food. The next day, Sarang goes to meet the chairman and tells him, "I'm leaving this job." The chairman asks why. Sarang says, "I'm leaving this job so I can be proud of my relationship. If I stay here, I'll always have to follow your orders." Hearing this, the chairman says, "So you've come to declare war." Sarang says, "Being away for a few days made me realize how much I love Koo-won. I can't last even a minute without him. By the way, I know you don't think I'm worthy, but I won't disappoint you." Hearing this, the chairman is very happy and says, "That's why I like you so much." After this, Sarang goes and meets all her co-workers, who give her gifts and hug her tightly. Then Sarang picks up her things and leaves, looking back at the hotel as she goes. Then Sarang is sitting at the bus stop when a very big car pulls up. Koo-won steps out and gives her a bouquet. "Congratulations on the new startup." Then he puts new shoes on her. Seeing this, Sarang is very happy. Koo-won says, "Thank you for working at King Hotel." Sarang says, "It was the best experience of my life." Hearing this, he says, "You made the right choice. You'll always be our hotel's VIP guest." Sarang says, "I am proud of you, President Koo-won." Then Koo-won puts her in the car. In the next scene, Koo-won makes many changes at the hotel, and all the workers are very happy. Koo-won hands Sang a juice and says, "I need to talk to you." Sang quickly finishes the juice. Koo-won then gives Sang a card. When Sang looks at it, it's a department manager business card. Sang is overjoyed and then teases Koo-won, "But why didn't you make me head manager? Miss Hwa-ran was going to make me head manager. I should have listened to her. You don't appreciate me at all. And how terrible." Hearing this, Koo-won picks up a box and says, "If you don't want to be department manager, then I guess you don't want this either." Sang grabs the box and goes to open it. Inside is a very expensive watch. Sang is overjoyed and starts praising Koo-won, but Koo-won tries to take the gift back. "If you don't want it, give it back." Sang says, "It's bad manners to take back a gift." Saying this, he grabs the gift and runs. On the other side, Sarang starts looking for a place to open her own hotel, but nothing she sees suits her. Koo-won helps her a lot. After a lot of difficulty, Sarang finds a place she loves, buys it, and begins decorating it beautifully herself. That night, Ji-hoo is packing to go back to America and is very sad. Koo-won tells him to stay, but Ji-hoo says, "Take good care of Sarang. When I come back next time, the two of us will have so much fun." Hearing this, Koo-won says yes, and then goes to Hwa-ran and says, "Ji-hoo shouldn't turn out like us." Hwa-ran says, "Don't bring up the family name as an excuse." Koo-won says, "You know well that Ji-hoo is going to America only because of you. He thinks if he stays here, you'll be bothered. A little child is doing so much for your happiness, and we're grown-ups. Don't we have a duty?" Hearing this, Hwa-ran says, "Will you do me a favor?" Koo-won says yes. Hwa-ran says, "Don't forget your place." Hearing this, Koo-won says, "Will you do me a favor too?" Hwa-ran says, "No." Koo-won says, "Don't leave yourself any more alone." Hearing this, Hwa-ran becomes emotional and walks away. The next day, Ji-hoo is going back to America. His mom comes to the airport to see him off. Ji-hoo starts to go but comes back and hugs his mom. Seeing this, Hwa-ran starts crying. Ji-hoo says, "I love you so much, Mom. I'll see you soon." Saying this, Ji-hoo starts to leave, but Hwa-ran pulls him back and tells him they are going home. They're home. Hearing this, Ji-hoo is happy. And from this, we understand that Hwa-ran has realized her mistake. On the other side, Sarang finishes all her hotel work and goes to sleep, missing Koo-won and messaging him. But then from outside, she hears a sound. Sarang picks up a stick and goes outside, and there is Koo-won. Sarang is overjoyed and hugs him. Koo-won says, "I missed you so much, so I ran to you." Sarang looks around the view, and she loves it because Koo-won has filled it with flowers. They sit and start talking. Then Sarang's hotel's first booking comes in, and both of them are extremely happy. Sarang says, "It's very late now. You can go. You also have work in the morning." Koo-won says, "If you want, I can stay here longer." Hearing this, Sarang gets up and says, Will you stay here with me?" Hearing this, Koo-won is happy and quickly goes and starts kissing Sarang. And kissing, they both go into one room together, and their romance begins. The next morning, they both sit together by the window enjoying the view, and then both sit and have breakfast together and have a lot of fun. On the other side, Lee-eun is taking Pyong somewhere. Pyong asks, "Where are we going?" Lee-eun says, "I'm taking you to meet my mom." Hearing this, Pyong says, "Oh no, I'm not even dressed nicely. Look at me. I can't meet her like this." Lee-eun says, "You look very pretty." But Pyong, still anxious, starts trying to fix herself up. After this, Lee-eun takes Pyong to his mom's grave because his mom has passed away. Seeing this, Pyong feels terrible. Lee-eun says, "Mom, this is Pyong, and Pyong, this is my mom." Seeing this, Pyong gets emotional, takes Leon's hand and says, "We will always love each other. I will take great care of him." Hearing this, Leon is happy. In the next scene, Sarang's hotel is always fully booked, and she has a lot of work because of it. So Koo Won comes every day to help her, sometimes fixing lights, sometimes bringing toilet tissue. One day, Sarang asks him, "Why do you come here every day?" Koo Won says, "I'm totally fresh." Sarang says, "Look at yourself once. Your dark circles have gotten so bad. Your skin has also become dull." Koo Won says, "But how will you handle all this alone?" Sarang says, "That's why I'm hiring some people for part-time work." Koo Won says, "Meaning, you don't want me coming here to help you?" Sarang says, "I'm doing this because I worry about you." Saying this, she makes him promise not to come every day. The next day, Sarang interviews some people for the job, but no one wants to work there. Just then, Koo Won arrives for an interview and says, "I'm ready to work with you." Sarang says, "You're already the president of King Hotel. Where do you even find the time?" Koo Won says, "For being with you, there's always time. Please hire me. I want to learn so much from you." Sarang says, "Okay, smile once." Koo Won quickly smiles. Sarang makes a face and says, "I said smile from the heart." Hearing this, Koo Won starts giving her his most beautiful smiles. Sarang agrees, and then Koo Won kneels down on one knee and, giving her a ring, proposes to her for marriage. Sarang says yes, and both of them are overjoyed. After this, Koo Won and Sarang go to visit Grandma, and because it's Grandma's birthday, Sarang gets her all dressed up nicely, and then all three of them celebrate the birthday together. Then Grandma tastes food made by Koo Won's hands and loves it. Koo Won says to Grandma, "I want to marry your Sarang. I will always take care of her." Sarang also asks Grandma for permission. Hearing this, Grandma becomes emotional and gives them permission. In the next scene, the wedding of Sarang and Koo Won takes place at King Hotel, where everything is beautifully decorated. Just then, Koo Won's mom is standing there looking at their photo. Hwa Ran and Ji-hoo arrive. Koo Won's mom sees Ji-hoo and is very happy. Ji-hoo asks, "Who are you?" She says, "I'm Koo Won's mom." Hearing this, Ji-hoo says, "So, my grandma." Hearing this, Koo Won's mom is happy and says to Hwa Ran, "You raised your son very well." Then she hugs Ji-hoo. On the other side, all of Sarang's friends also arrive. Koo Won is standing and waiting for his dad. Just then, his dad arrives. Koo Won says, "Dad, I thought you wouldn't come." Dad says, "Your mom told me to let Koo Won enjoy his life. So son, in your happiness lies my happiness." Hearing this, Koo Won hugs his dad. Then Koo Won's dad goes and sits next to his mom and asks, "After the wedding, sir, shall we go get coffee?" Hearing this, Koo Won's mom looks at him. Just then, Koo Won arrives, and a little later, Sarang also arrives, looking absolutely beautiful. Everyone welcomes her warmly, and then, in front of everyone, the